One of the trends in East Asia and in Singapore is growing prosperity, but also growing income inequality. The Singapore government has implemented many initiatives to help the bottom 20% of our citizens, such as Workfare, CPF Life, HDB grants, MediSave, MediFund, MediShield, subsidized training and retraining. Short of a minimum wage, what else can we do to help the bottom 20% of our citizens to live in dignity and in material sufficiency?
Do you do economics?
No, I don't. But in SMU, we are required to do introductory economics.
Well, the first thing you learn about minimum wage is that it cuts down employment. Every country that puts a minimum wage above what the market will bear means the employer begins to mechanize and find other ways to cut employment. So our view is let the market decide and create the most employment that we can, because that's the first thing you want to do. Never mind your Gini coefficient. If you don't have a job, you get zero against those with jobs. So our first priority is jobs for everybody. And it's not just in East Asia where the Gini coefficient is getting bigger. It's happening throughout the world because it's a globalized world. In a globalized world, you find 1,200 million Chinese, most of whom well, when you started anyway, are unskilled or semi-skilled, and so with India, and so with Eastern Europe, and many other countries. So our workers are competing against workers from these countries whose salaries are about 1/5 or even 1/10 of ours. So it tends to depress their wages. At the high end, our entrepreneurs then go abroad to invest. Go to India, go to China, go to Vietnam, and some even go to the developed countries. And you've got to take with you your chief operating officers, your financial officer, your supervisor, to make sure that the labor force is properly taught how to do the job and so on. So they begin to get their salaries up. They are at the higher end. They are needed to go out with the employer to train. Many of them are taken by the MNCs to go to China and other places, and even to Malaya and Thailand, Bangkok, Vietnam, to teach the locals how they should do the job. And you get expatriate allowances, housing allowances, educational allowances for their children. So that Gini coefficient is not just happening, the widening is not just happening in East Asia, it's happening worldwide. And most of all in America, because that's where they're exporting all the low-end, low-value-added enterprises. And there was talk during the Obama campaign of passing legislation to prevent them from going abroad. But if you pass that kind of legislation and you don't go abroad, but your competitors go abroad to lower-cost countries, Japan, Europe, then your markets will shrink. I mean, they make these issues during election time. I think they know what the result will be, but the unions will be happy and they get the votes. And when they get into power, we wait and see whether they will actually do it. And if they do it, then I know they are hobbling their own entrepreneurs. So this is a global problem, and we are solving it the best way we can. But you better start, Samuelson, Economics 101.